Introduction: Zlatan's philosophy and defiance. Zlatan Ibrahimovic opens his autobiography with a bold declaration of who he is, a man of defiance, an athlete who refused to conform to the expectations of others. From his earliest memories, Zlatan frames his life as a struggle against authority, society, and the world of football, which never truly embraced his individuality. This book is not just a retelling of Zlatan's career but a manifesto of self-belief and survival. His story is rooted in the streets of Rosengård, a poor immigrant neighborhood in Malmö, Sweden. Zlatan was never the typical football prodigy who fit neatly into the youth systems designed to mold young talent. Instead, his journey was one of conflict, rejection, and ultimately, triumph through sheer force of will. He promises to share the raw and unfiltered truth, and from the very beginning, it's clear that I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic is as much about rebellion as it is about football. Chapter 1: Early Life, The Streets of Rosengård. Zlatan Ibrahimovic's early life was defined by hardship. Growing up in the tough Rosengård district of Malmö, he lived in an area notorious for crime, poverty, and a lack of opportunities. Zlatan describes his neighborhood as a melting pot of cultures, where tensions often ran high, and survival depended on being tough. His parents were immigrants, struggling to make ends meet. His father, Efik, a Bosnian Muslim, worked as a janitor and struggled with alcoholism, while his mother, Jerka, a Croatian Catholic, worked as a cleaner. Zlatan's childhood was fractured, moving back and forth between his parents after their divorce. His relationship with his mother was tumultuous. She was strict and quick to discipline him, sometimes harshly. On the other hand, his father, though distant emotionally, had a profound impact on Zlatan in other ways. Despite his financial struggles, Efik always made sure to buy Zlatan the necessary football gear, even if it meant sacrificing basic needs for himself. At home, Zlatan faced constant instability. His parents' divorce left him feeling adrift, and he often found himself alone, fending for himself. He was, as he describes, a misfit from the start, constantly getting into trouble, stealing bikes, and showing an early disdain for authority. His rebellious streak began here, in the streets of Rosengård, where he learned that to survive, you had to be different, tougher, and smarter than those around you. Football became Zlatan's escape from the harsh realities of his life. He found solace in the ball, which he could control in a world where everything else seemed chaotic. He would spend hours practicing in the streets, mastering the kind of tricks and flair that would later define his playing style. However, even in these early days, Zlatan was not just playing to have fun, he was playing to win, to dominate, and to prove that he was better than everyone else around him. Zlatan's early footballing experiences were marked by conflict with authority figures. Coaches didn't know how to handle a player like him, wild, unpredictable, and full of flair. While other kids followed instructions, Zlatan played by his own rules, often showing off with flashy moves that angered coaches and teammates alike. He quickly gained a reputation for being arrogant and difficult to manage, a label that would follow him throughout his career. Chapter 2: Malmö FF, Rising Through the Ranks. Zlatan's undeniable talent eventually earned him a place in Malmö FF, the biggest club in his hometown. However, even here, he didn't quite fit in. His playing style, honed on the streets, was seen as too individualistic and flashy by the coaches. They wanted him to be more disciplined, more of a team player, but Zlatan wasn't interested in playing the way others wanted him to. He knew he was special, and he wasn't going to let anyone change him. At Malmö FF, Zlatan faced constant criticism for his attitude on and off the field. He didn't shy away from confrontation and often clashed with teammates who resented his arrogance. In training, he would taunt other players with his skills, sometimes going out of his way to humiliate them. But while his behavior rubbed people the wrong way, his talent was undeniable. Zlatan was the kind of player who could single-handedly change the outcome of a game, and this made him invaluable, despite his rebellious nature. One of the most significant challenges Zlatan faced during this time was the pressure to conform. Coaches and teammates wanted him to fall in line, to play the game the right way, but Zlatan couldn't do it. He struggled to find his place in a system that didn't accommodate individuality. In the book, Zlatan reflects on how this experience shaped his philosophy of football. To be great, you have to be different. He knew that to succeed, he had to play his way, even if it meant being an outsider. Despite the constant tension, Zlatan's performances on the field began to attract attention. Scouts from bigger clubs took notice of the tall, lanky kid from Rosengard who played with a combination of power, technique, and audacity rarely seen in Swedish football. Malmö FF was struggling in the Swedish league, but Zlatan's presence gave them hope. His performances were inconsistent, as he was still developing his game, but when he was on form, he was unstoppable. Zlatan's breakthrough came during a match against AIK, one of Sweden's biggest clubs. Malmö was struggling, and Zlatan was benched. Frustrated and angry, he watched from the sidelines as his team fell behind. When he was finally brought on, he took over the game, scoring a stunning goal and assisting another to secure a crucial victory. This performance solidified his reputation as a rising star in Swedish football. However, with success came more scrutiny. The media began to focus on Zlatan's off-field antics, portraying him as a troublemaker. Zlatan's response was defiant: "I don't care what they say about me. I play for myself, not for them." This attitude would define his relationship with the press throughout his career. Chapter 3: Ajax, the big move. Zlatan's performances at Malmö eventually caught the attention of Ajax, one of Europe's biggest clubs, known for producing world-class talent. The move to Ajax was a dream come true for Zlatan, but it also marked the beginning of a new set of challenges. At Ajax, Zlatan encountered a level of professionalism and tactical discipline that was completely foreign to him. The Dutch league, known for its emphasis on technical skills and tactical awareness, was a perfect fit for Zlatan's style, but the transition wasn't easy. Ajax was a club steeped in tradition, with a strict playing philosophy that emphasized teamwork and collective play. Zlatan, however, was used to being the star, the player who took risks and made things happen on his own. From the moment he arrived at Ajax, Zlatan clashed with the club's coaching staff and senior players. His arrogance and flamboyant style didn't sit well with everyone, and he quickly earned a reputation as a troublemaker. In the book, Zlatan recalls an early confrontation with Ronald Koeman, one of the club's legends and then the manager of Ajax. Koeman was a disciplinarian who demanded that his players stick to the system, but Zlatan wasn't interested in playing within the confines of someone else's rules. Despite the friction, Zlatan quickly established himself as one of Ajax's most talented players. His combination of strength, skill, and creativity made him a nightmare for defenders, and he helped Ajax win several domestic titles during his time at the club. One of the most memorable moments from this period came during a Champions League match against Lyon, where Zlatan scored a stunning solo goal, dribbling past several defenders before calmly finishing past the goalkeeper. This goal became an iconic moment in his career and solidified his status as one of Europe's top young talents. However, Zlatan's time at Ajax was also marked by controversy. He had several high-profile clashes with teammates, most notably with Rafael van der Vaart, a fellow rising star at the club. The two players never saw eye to eye, and their rivalry came to a head during a match between the Netherlands and Sweden. Zlatan injured van der Vaart in a tackle, and van der Vaart publicly accused Zlatan of deliberately trying to hurt him. The incident caused a rift within the Ajax dressing room, and tensions between Zlatan and his teammates reached a boiling point. Zlatan's response to the controversy was typical of his defiant nature: "I don't care what they think of me. I play for myself, not for them." This attitude alienated some of his teammates, but it also reinforced Zlatan's belief that he had to stay true to himself, even if it meant being an outsider. Chapter 4: Juventus, the Italian adventure begins. After several successful seasons at Ajax, Zlatan made a high-profile move to Juventus, one of Italy's most storied clubs. The move to Serie A was a significant step up for Zlatan, as Italian football was known for its tactical sophistication and defensive discipline. At Juventus, Zlatan encountered a level of competition that was far more intense than anything he had experienced in the Netherlands. Juventus was a club with a winning mentality, and Zlatan was eager to prove himself on the biggest stage. He was brought in to replace the legendary striker Alessandro Del Piero, which was no small task. Del Piero was a fan favorite and an icon at the club, and Zlatan knew that he would have to win over the supporters if he wanted to succeed in Turin. Under the guidance of coach Fabio Capello, Zlatan began to develop the tactical discipline that had been missing from his game. Capello was a no-nonsense manager who demanded perfection from his players, and he quickly set about refining Zlatan's raw talent. One of the key areas Capello focused on was Zlatan's finishing. While Zlatan was capable of scoring spectacular goals, he often struggled with consistency in front of goal. Capello worked tirelessly with Zlatan on his positioning and composure, turning him into a more clinical finisher. Zlatan flourished under Capello's guidance, helping Juventus win back-to-back Serie A titles. His performances were consistently excellent, and he quickly became one of the top strikers in the league. However, his time at Juventus was not without controversy. The Calciopoli scandal, which rocked Italian football in 2006, led to Juventus being stripped of their titles and relegated to Serie B. Zlatan, along with many of the club's top players, sought a move away from the club as a result of the scandal. The Calciopoli scandal was a dark chapter in Italian football, and Zlatan reflects on how it impacted his career. Juventus was a club in turmoil, and Zlatan had to navigate the uncertainty and chaos that followed the scandal. Ultimately, he decided to leave the club and join Inter Milan, where he would continue his rise to the top of European football. Chapter 5: Inter Milan, dominating Serie A. Zlatan's move to Inter Milan marked the beginning of one of the most successful periods of his career. At Inter, he reunited with coach José Mourinho, one of the few managers who truly understood and appreciated Zlatan's unique talents. Mourinho's man-management skills and tactical acumen brought out the best in Zlatan, and the two developed a strong bond. During his time at Inter, Zlatan became the focal point of the team's attack, and he helped lead the club to 3 consecutive Serie A titles. His performances were consistently excellent, and he was widely regarded as one of the best players in the world. Zlatan thrived under Mourinho's leadership, as the coach gave him the freedom to express himself on the pitch while also instilling a sense of discipline and tactical awareness. One of the most memorable moments of Zlatan's time at Inter came during a match against Juventus, his former club. In this match, Zlatan scored a stunning goal, controlling a long pass with his chest before volleying the ball into the top corner of the net. The goal was a perfect example of Zlatan's unique combination of strength, technique, and creativity, and it solidified his reputation as a big-game player. Zlatan's time at Inter was also marked by his fierce rivalry with AC Milan, the club's city rivals. The Milan derbies were always intense affairs, and Zlatan relished the opportunity to go head-to-head with Milan's top players. In the book, Zlatan recalls several memorable encounters with AC Milan, including a heated exchange with Paolo Maldini, one of the greatest defenders in football history. Despite the animosity between the two clubs, Zlatan respected Maldini and considered him one of his toughest opponents. However, despite his domestic success with Inter, Zlatan's ultimate goal was to win the Champions League. Inter consistently fell short in Europe, and this became a source of frustration for Zlatan. He knew that to truly cement his legacy, he needed to win the biggest prize in club football. This desire for European success would ultimately lead him to seek a move to Barcelona, the reigning Champions League winners at the time. Chapter 6: Barcelona, a clash of personalities. Zlatan's move to Barcelona in 2009 was one of the most high-profile transfers in football history. At the time, Barcelona was arguably the best team in the world, having just won the treble, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and Champions League, under the management of Pep Guardiola. Zlatan saw this as his best chance to finally win the Champions League, and he was excited about the prospect of playing alongside some of the world's best players, including Lionel Messi, Xavi, and Andres Iniesta. However, Zlatan's time at Barcelona quickly turned sour. While he initially started well, scoring several important goals, his relationship with Guardiola began to deteriorate. In the book, Zlatan describes Guardiola as a philosopher who was more concerned with tactics and systems than with managing personalities. Zlatan, who had always thrived under managers who gave him freedom to express himself, found Guardiola's approach stifling. The tension between Zlatan and Guardiola reached its peak when Guardiola decided to move Messi to a central role in the team's attack, pushing Zlatan out to the wing. This tactical shift marginalized Zlatan, and he struggled to adapt to his new role. He felt that Guardiola was deliberately sidelining him to accommodate Messi, and this led to a complete breakdown in their relationship. Zlatan doesn't hold back in his criticism of Guardiola in the book. He accuses the Barcelona coach of lacking the courage to manage big players and suggests that Guardiola was intimidated by his strong personality. Zlatan recalls several confrontations with Guardiola, including one infamous incident where he yelled at the coach in front of the entire team, telling him, "You have no balls." Despite the tension, Zlatan still managed to contribute to Barcelona's domestic success, helping the team win La Liga. However, his primary goal of winning the Champions League eluded him, as Barcelona were eliminated in the semi-finals by Inter Milan, Zlatan's former club. This defeat was particularly painful for Zlatan, as he watched his old teammates go on to win the trophy he had desperately wanted. By the end of the season, it was clear that Zlatan's time at Barcelona was over. He had fallen out of favor with Guardiola, and the club was looking to offload him. Zlatan describes his departure from Barcelona as a relief, as he was eager to move on from a situation that had become toxic. He eventually joined AC Milan on loan, where he would once again find the freedom to play his style of football. Chapter 7: AC Milan, Reclaiming Glory. Zlatan's return to AC Milan was a turning point in his career. After the tumultuous experience at Barcelona, Zlatan was eager to prove that he was still one of the best players in the world. At Milan, he found an environment that allowed him to thrive, both on and off the pitch. In the book, Zlatan speaks highly of Milan's relaxed atmosphere and the respect he received from both the club's management and his teammates. Unlike Barcelona, where he felt stifled, Milan gave Zlatan the freedom to play his natural game. He quickly became the focal point of the team's attack, and his performances were instrumental in helping Milan win the Serie A title in 2011. Zlatan reflects on the importance of feeling trusted and valued by his coach and teammates. At Milan, he was given the responsibility of leading the team, and he thrived in this role. He formed a strong partnership with several of Milan's key players, including Alexandre Pato and Kevin Prince Boateng, and together they helped Milan reclaim their position as the top team in Italy. One of the highlights of Zlatan's time at Milan was a memorable match against Inter, his former club. In this match, Zlatan scored the winning goal from the penalty spot, and his celebration was a statement of defiance to his former employers. Zlatan relished the opportunity to prove his critics wrong, and this goal was a symbol of his redemption. Despite his success at Milan, Zlatan's desire to win the Champions League remained unfulfilled. Milan were unable to replicate their domestic success in Europe, and this continued to be a source of frustration for Zlatan. However, he remained focused on helping Milan dominate in Italy, and his performances continued to be of the highest level. Chapter 8: Paris Saint-Germain, Becoming a Global Icon. In 2012, Zlatan made a high-profile move to Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, a club that was undergoing a transformation under new Qatari ownership. PSG was building a team to dominate French football and challenge for the Champions League, and Zlatan was brought in as the centerpiece of their project. At PSG, Zlatan became a global superstar. He was the face of the club's rise to prominence, and his performances on the pitch were nothing short of spectacular. Zlatan helped PSG win multiple league titles, and he became the club's all-time leading scorer during his time in Paris. Zlatan's time at PSG was marked by several iconic moments, including his stunning 4-goal performance against England while playing for the Swedish national team. One of the goals, a bicycle kick from outside the box, became one of the most famous goals in football history. Zlatan reflects on this moment as one of the highlights of his career, describing the feeling of scoring such a goal as unbelievable. In Paris, Zlatan's fame reached new heights. He became a marketing dream, with brands lining up to associate themselves with his larger-than-life persona. Zlatan embraced his role as a global icon, and he used his platform to further build his brand. In the book, he discusses how he navigated the world of endorsements and media appearances, balancing his football career with his growing business interests. Despite his success at PSG, Zlatan's ultimate goal of winning the Champions League remained elusive. PSG consistently fell short in Europe, and Zlatan was unable to achieve the one trophy that had eluded him throughout his career. However, he remained proud of his achievements at the club, and he left PSG as a legend, with his name etched in the club's history. Chapter 9: Manchester United, Proving Himself in the Premier League, continued. Zlatan Ibrahimovic's move to Manchester United in 2016 was seen as a bold decision, given his age and the physical demands of the Premier League. Zlatan, however, was determined to prove that age was just a number. From the very beginning, he embraced the challenge of playing in what is considered the toughest football league in the world. Under the management of Jose Mourinho, Zlatan found a coach who understood his mentality and playing style. The two had previously worked together at Inter Milan, where they built a strong rapport. Mourinho's confidence in Zlatan helped him settle into life at United, and Zlatan immediately repaid that faith with his performances. In his first season at Manchester United, Zlatan was instrumental in the club's success. He scored 28 goals in all competitions, helping United win 3 trophies, the Community Shield, the EFL Cup, and the Europa League. These achievements were significant, as they helped Manchester United regain some of the stature they had lost in the post-Alex Ferguson era. One of the most iconic moments from Zlatan's time at Manchester United came during the EFL Cup final against Southampton. Zlatan scored twice in a 3-2 victory, including a dramatic late winner, to secure the trophy for United. This performance solidified his status as a big-game player, capable of delivering when it mattered most. Despite his success, Zlatan's time at Manchester United was not without setbacks. In April 2017, he suffered a serious knee injury in a Europa League match against Anderlecht. The injury was severe, and many speculated that it could end his career, especially given his age. Zlatan, however, refused to accept this fate. In the book, he reflects on his recovery process, describing the intense physical and mental challenges he faced in his fight to return to the pitch. Zlatan's rehabilitation became a testament to his resilience and determination. He worked tirelessly to overcome the injury, and in November 2017, he made a remarkable comeback, returning to action much earlier than expected. His return was greeted with admiration from fans and pundits alike, further cementing his reputation as a player who defied the odds. However, Zlatan's second season at Manchester United was not as successful as the first. While he made a few appearances after his recovery, it became clear that he was no longer the focal point of the team. Younger players, such as Romelu Lukaku, had taken on more prominent roles in the attack, and Zlatan's opportunities became limited. In March 2018, Zlatan decided to leave Manchester United and embark on the next chapter of his career. Chapter 10, LA Galaxy, taking on America. After leaving Manchester United, Zlatan made a surprise move to the LA Galaxy in Major League Soccer, MLS. Many viewed this as the final stage of Zlatan's career, a move to a less competitive league where he could wind down before retirement. Zlatan, however, saw things differently. From the moment he arrived in Los Angeles, he made it clear that he was there to dominate and elevate the profile of MLS. Zlatan's impact on MLS was immediate and spectacular. In his debut match for the Galaxy, Zlatan scored 2 goals, including an audacious long-range strike from over 40 yards out, to help his team come back from a 3-0 deficit and win 4-3 against LAFC, the Galaxy's city rivals. This moment became iconic, with Zlatan declaring afterward, "I came, I saw, I conquered," a phrase that perfectly encapsulated his larger-than-life persona. During his time at LA Galaxy, Zlatan continued to score spectacular goals, many of which made headlines around the world. His blend of physicality, technique, and creativity made him one of the most dominant players in the league, despite being in the later stages of his career. In 2 seasons with the Galaxy, Zlatan scored 53 goals in 58 games, including several memorable strikes that further added to his legend. Zlatan also brought his trademark swagger to MLS, often engaging in verbal sparring with opponents, the media, and even his own teammates. He famously declared that he was by far the best player in MLS and that the league should be grateful for his presence. While some viewed this as arrogance, Zlatan saw it as part of his philosophy of always believing in himself, no matter the circumstances. Despite his individual success, the Galaxy struggled to achieve the kind of team success Zlatan had experienced in Europe. The team failed to win any major trophies during his time in Los Angeles, and after the 2019 season, Zlatan decided to leave the Galaxy and return to European football. As he departed, he left fans with a final memorable quote, "I came, I saw, I conquered. You wanted Zlatan, I gave you Zlatan. You are welcome." Chapter 11, AC Milan, the return of a legend. After his stint in MLS, many believed that Zlatan's career was nearing its end. However, in December 2019, Zlatan surprised the football world by returning to AC Milan at the age of 38. His decision to return to one of Europe's top leagues at such an advanced age was seen as a bold move, but Zlatan was determined to prove that he could still perform at the highest level. Milan was going through a difficult period, struggling in Serie A and far from their former glory days. Zlatan's arrival was seen as a gamble, but he quickly showed that he was still a force to be reckoned with. In his first full season back at Milan, Zlatan scored 15 goals in 19 league appearances, helping the team secure a second-place finish in Serie A and qualify for the Champions League for the first time in several years. Zlatan's influence at Milan went beyond his performances on the pitch. He became a leader in the dressing room, mentoring younger players and instilling a winning mentality in the squad. His experience, confidence, and charisma had a transformative effect on the team, and Milan's resurgence was largely attributed to his presence. In the book, Zlatan reflects on his ability to continue playing at such a high level well into his late 30s and early 40s. He credits his longevity to his intense training regimen, discipline, and refusal to let age dictate his performance. Zlatan also discusses the importance of mental strength in his career, emphasizing that his belief in himself has been the key to overcoming challenges and maintaining his success. Zlatan's second spell at Milan also saw him reach several personal milestones. In September 2021, at the age of 39, he became the oldest foreign player to score in Serie A. His performances continued to defy expectations, and he showed no signs of slowing down, even as he approached his 40th birthday. Chapter 12: Reflections on Fame, Family, and Legacy. As Zlatan approaches the final stages of his career, he takes time to reflect on his journey, both as a footballer and as a person. In the final chapters of the book, he opens up about the challenges of balancing his public persona with his private life. While Zlatan is known for his brash, confident demeanor in the media, he reveals a more introspective side when discussing his family and personal relationships. Zlatan speaks about his wife, Helena, and their two sons, Maximilian and Vincent. He describes how his family has provided him with stability and support throughout his career. Despite his often chaotic life in football, Zlatan is deeply committed to his family, and he credits them with keeping him grounded. He also discusses the difficulty of being away from his family during long football seasons, particularly when he was playing abroad. In addition to his family, Zlatan reflects on his relationship with the media and his public image. Throughout his career, he has been portrayed as arrogant, and while Zlatan acknowledges that he enjoys playing up this persona, he insists that much of it is an act. In private, he is more reserved and introspective, preferring to keep his personal life out of the spotlight. One of the key themes in the book is the importance of self-belief. Zlatan's confidence, often perceived as arrogance, has been a defining feature of his career. He explains that this mindset was shaped by his upbringing in Rosengard, where he had to fight for everything he had. Zlatan believes that his success is not just the result of his talent, but of his unwavering belief in himself, even when others doubted him. As he looks back on his career, Zlatan expresses pride in what he has achieved. He knows that his journey has been unconventional and that he has often been misunderstood, but he wouldn't change a thing. For Zlatan, his legacy is about more than just the trophies he has won. It's about the way he played the game and the impact he had on those who watched him. Chapter 13: Zlatan's Philosophy, Confidence, Individuality, and Resilience. The final chapter of I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic serves as a reflection on the philosophy that has guided Zlatan throughout his life and career. At its core, Zlatan's philosophy is built on three key principles: confidence, individuality, and resilience. Confidence. From a young age, Zlatan learned that confidence was essential to surviving and thriving in the world of professional football. Whether he was playing in the streets of Rosengard or in the grand stadiums of Europe, Zlatan always believed he was the best. He admits that this confidence sometimes came across as arrogance, but for him, it was a necessary mindset. In a world where everyone wanted to change him, Zlatan's belief in himself was the one constant that kept him moving forward. Individuality. Zlatan's career has been defined by his refusal to conform to the expectations of others. Throughout the book, He emphasizes the importance of staying true to oneself, even when it means being an outsider. Zlatan's playing style, personality, and approach to the game have always set him apart from his peers. He believes that his individuality is what made him successful, and he encourages others to embrace their differences rather than try to fit in. Resilience. Zlatan's journey has not been without its challenges. From growing up in poverty to dealing with injuries, criticism, and personal setbacks, Zlatan has faced adversity at every stage of his life. However, his resilience has been a driving force behind his success. Zlatan never gave up, even when the odds were stacked against him. Whether it was recovering from a serious injury or overcoming a difficult period at a club, Zlatan's ability to bounce back stronger has been a hallmark of his career. In conclusion, Zlatan leaves the reader with a powerful message: success comes from within. While talent is important, it is one's mindset and determination that truly make the difference. Zlatan's story is not just about football, it is about overcoming obstacles, defying expectations, and staying true to oneself, no matter what the world says. Conclusion. The legend of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic is more than just a footballer's autobiography. It is the story of a man who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. Zlatan's journey is marked by rebellion, defiance, and an unshakable belief in himself. Whether you admire him for his skill on the pitch or his larger-than-life personality, Zlatan's story is one of perseverance and self-determination. As Zlatan's career continues into his 40s, his legacy is already secure. He has left an indelible mark on the world of football, and his influence will be felt for generations to come. I Am Zlatan Ibrahimovic offers readers a glimpse into the mind of one of football's most unique and compelling characters, and it serves as a testament to the power of self-belief and individuality.